of I'll kind of make sure that everybody is really up to date, and then also maybe I'll take a few questions if we have some time. I'll take a few questions in the chat. Okay. All right. So here's the filing right here. So State of Georgia versus Donald Trump, 18 other defendants. This is a order on defendants' special demurrers. Okay, here's the top part. You can see the defendants challenge count 2, 5, 6, 23, 28, and 38 of the indictment by way of special demurrer. So let's look at that footnote. So demurrer basically means directly through adoption. And so those are the 6 counts that the defendants are challenging. Demurrer provides a means for the criminally accused to ensure that the state's charging document satisfies the constitutional mandates of due process and the 6th Amendment. So I'll kind of sift through all the legalese jargon and kind of make sure that we break this down in layman's terms. But I think this is really important to kind of see the actual language itself, because you guys know me. I really, I'm a really big fan of making sure that everything is clear cut, that our due diligence is taken care of, and we make sure that everything is backed up by data and facts and actual evidence. I see Seattle, Washington in the house. Karen, good to see you. Just Be Happy, sunny Florida. Liberty's from Delaware. Look how cool that is. Alabama's in the house. Toronto, Canada. Look at that. From Reno, Nebraska. I love it. Good to see you guys. Come on in. Sunny Florida. And The Wandering Project is from Alaska. I love that name of your channel. Syracuse in the house. All right. Great to see you guys. Alabama in the house. I love it. I absolutely love it. Come on in. Come on in. Make sure, guys, you tap the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It takes you only a second. It's absolutely free. Just tap that thumbs up real quick so we can get more people and get our country back. We need to galvanize a movement here, Nez Nation. I love you guys. Okay. So the special demurrer challenges the form of the indictment by claiming that the defendant is entitled to additional information or specificity, citing Kimbrough versus State. Pre-trial, a charging document is expected to be perfect in form as well as substance. Thomas v. State, the challenge language of an indictment should be interpreted liberally. I'm just reading this off right here while we see this. In favor of the state, with any objections strictly construed against the defendant, Malloy v. State. Despite this, a pretrial challenge does not require a showing of prejudice, and the trial court should examine the indictment from the perspective that the accused is innocent, i.e., lacking knowledge of any incriminating facts alleged by the state. Our appellate courts have provided a well-used standard for evaluating a special demurrer. The test is not whether the indictment could have been made more definite and certain, but whether it contains the elements of the offense intended to be charged and sufficiently apprise the defendant of what he must be prepared to meet, and in case any other proceedings are taken against him for similar offense, whether the record shows with accuracy to what extent he may plead a former acquittal or conviction. Sanders v. State, deploying a civil analogy, a special demurrer is akin to a motion for a more definite statement. The ultimate purpose is to put the defendant on notice and protect against double jeopardy. Okay. State v. English, due process is satisfied where the indictment puts the defendant on notice of the crimes with which he is charged. So the lawyers are doing their jobs. They're looking for a more, this is just legal jargon for, hey, we're going to try to make this as, we're going to state our case in so many ways. We're still waiting, by the way, Nez Nation. We are still waiting on the actual official word from the judge. So there is no definitive ruling. Judge McAfee has not stated definitively. Obviously, that is going to be a live stream of all live streams. We're going to live stream that from the court as soon as it happens. So you definitely want to make sure you subscribe. In the pinned comment is our Nez Nation Insider newsletter. Make sure you subscribe to that. It's in the pinned comment. Just click on that and click on newsletter and subscribe to our free newsletter so you don't miss out, because I'm going to give it to you live as it's breaking. Let's see here. Turning to the indictment itself, these 6 challenged counts charge various defendants with solicitation of violation of oath by public officer in violation. Okay, so what that essentially means, let me look at you guys real fast. So what these counts are basically charging Trump and the other gazillion defendants. How many defendants are there? Paul Levette actually has a great question here. I'm going to answer that. I'm going to leave that in a second. What this is basically saying, this solicitation of violation of oath, is Fani Cash Money G. Willis is essentially saying that these defendants, including Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, tried to get people to lie under oath. So they solicited a violation of oath of public office. That's what these 6 charges, these 6 counts that the defendants challenged in this filing, and Judge McAfee has dismissed them. Judge McAfee has essentially dismissed all of these 6 counts. So Paul asks a great question here. Does this favor Fani Willis? No, it does not favor Cash Money G. Willis. It is a win for Trump. It is a win for these defendants. Is it a win for the entire case? Is it a win for, does it imply something of where the judge might be leaning in his decision? Is this going to implicate or have some kind of overshadowing or foreshadowing, if you will, of what's to come? Is Judge McAfee going to dismiss this case? Is Judge McAfee going to go even further and charge Fani and Nathan Wade, Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, with disbarment perhaps, or any criminal felony charges, lying under oath, etc., etc.? Racketeering charges, using misappropriation of taxpayer funds. It's really, really interesting. Here's what I think really quickly before I actually keep going through this. Before I keep going through this, here's what I think. I'm going to keep going through this indictment because it's so interesting. It's just really, really interesting to see what these guys say. Montana's in the house. Good to see you. North Idaho. Keep it coming. I want to hear where you guys are joining me from. Chicago, Shot-Town in the house. I love it. I love you guys. I just absolutely love you guys. You're with us. You want our country to be better. If you're a part of Nez Nation, you want our country to survive. And right now we are literally on life support. That is not an exaggeration. I truly believe I love my country through and through, every molecule of my body. I love my country, but I truly believe that we are on life support. Dog Boy, thank you so much. I love your profile picture. Dog Boy gives a $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Half our friends and relatives that keep voting for these Dem traitors are the real enemy. The politicians wouldn't be in power with their votes. That's exactly right. And honestly, that's the whole purpose of my channel. I can't tell you how many enemies I've made by pivoting in this and shifting in this direction on my channel. I felt it was incumbent upon me. I felt that I had to do it. I felt it's my purpose in life. I feel I owe it to my kids. I owe it to all of the people who fought and died for our beautiful freedoms. I owe it to the fabric of our nation, the founding fathers, the founding documents, the founding values and principles. So thank you, Dogboy. I completely agree. I think our nation is on life support. And now what's happening with Haiti, don't even get me started. So you want to stay tuned. You want to subscribe. Make sure, by the way, if you want to join the chat, if you want to engage, just subscribe. That's all you got to do. It's free. Just click that subscribe button and you're in. Let's see how we're doing on Rumble. We're also on Rumble as well. Make sure you follow me on Rumble. I'm Professor Nez pretty much everywhere. Okay, so getting back to this, I truly believe what I was going to say about Judge McAfee. So many of you might not know this. Escaped California. I know I'm still in California, but it's, my wife and her family, my wife's family is here. I'm stuck. I have to stay here, unfortunately, even though I'm extremely upset with California. I think Judge McAfee, thank you so much for the 1999 Solomon overhead. New to the channel. Thank you for standing strong. I appreciate you. Thank you, Roxy with the $5 super sticker. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Solomon Overhead. That is awesome. You guys are the best. I really appreciate it. It all goes back into the channel, by the way. All the super thanks, all the super chats go back into the channel so I can keep creating this content live, breaking, up to date. I think that Judge McAfee he's a green rookie. He's a millennial judge. He's only 34. He looks a lot older than that. Sorry, Judge McAfee, if you're watching, I love you. He looks a lot older than that. I thought he was at least in his 40s. But he's only 34. Arizona here on Rumble. Good to see you, Susie. Good to see you on Rumble. Thank you for being here. So I truly believe that Judge McAfee he's going to follow the law he's so by the book. So he's going to follow the law to a T. And that's why he's taking so long. There's a part of me that thinks he's not going to make a decision this week, even though he said he's on track to do that. If you didn't see my last video, I talk extensively. He did an interview for WSB Radio on the Shelley Winter Show. I talked extensively about that. I truly believe that this guy is going to meticulously go through literally everything. And to my perspective, my educated guess, okay, and maybe even my uneducated guess, if he's really going to be that conscientious and that detail-oriented and really comb every fabric of the law and Georgia state law, I truly believe he has to dismiss her at the very least. Because not only has she engaged in impropriety, but she has engaged in the appearance of impropriety. And that is all it takes to get a dismissal here. At least that's what Georgia state law. You guys have seen my videos on the pit bull, Steve Sadow. Oh, by the way, some of you might not know this. I'm in conversation with the pit bull Sadow. I'm also in conversation with a lot of heavy hitters in this case. So we're going to have guests. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. We're going to have amazing guests on this show. We're going to have amazing interviews. I'm guaranteeing you right now is your time to, if you haven't subscribed by now, now's the time, y'all. Now is the time to subscribe if you haven't, because we have got so much stuff cooking for y'all. We got so much stuff coming. It's going to be beautiful. If he's going to be this meticulous, if he's going to actually be following the law to the letter, as I think he is. I mean, he's a new judge. So his instinct, his intuition is probably screaming, you got to file charges. You got to disbar these crooks, Fannie Cash Money G, Nathan the Philanderer Wade. His intuition, much like all of ours, is screaming that these guys are absolute selfish, narcissistic, crime-ridden pigs. I mean, they just are. There's no way you can get around that fact. I mean, it is just a fact. I'm sick and tired of all this woke BS. We got to tiptoe around these people. We can't call it like it is. I'm calling it like it is. They are thugs, okay? They've broken so many laws. They've violated so many laws. They don't give a rat's behind about their constituents. It is all about power, just like Pelosi, just like Schumer, just like Solwell, just like Raskin, just like the Weasel Schiff. They are all just absolute weasels. That's what they are. Thank you so much, Brenda Jenks. Great to see you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I love you, girl. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. I'm so proud of you. So if he's going to follow the law to the letter like this, if he's going to comb through every statute, and if he's going to really dig deep into all of the evidence, I cannot see anything. At the very least, there should be a dismissal. At the very least, there should be a dismissal. And so that's my thought on this. But anyway, back to the dismissal of these 6 counts. I'm going to read through this and then I'm going to go through and tell you what I think it all means. Okay. But it's important that we get to the actual language because language is important. Remember the rhetorical principles. Language is important. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I mean, that should be a lot better there. Okay. There we go. That's a lot better. Okay. So solicitation of violation of oath by public officer prohibits any public officer from willfully and intentionally violating the terms of his or her oath as prescribed by law. The term of the oath alleged to have been violated must be expressly prescribed, meaning it is explicitly contained in the applicable statutory provisions. Jowers v. State, 1997, reversing when a police officer's oath did not expressly include a provision to uphold state law. Bradley v. State. You see how they always have to provide evidence. They always have to provide a very specific case law. If they don't do that, then they're in trouble. So they have to always do that. Does that make sense, you guys? Let me know if that makes sense in the chat. So Bradley v. State. The state must present evidence that the defendant violated the terms of the oath actually administered, and those terms were from the oath prescribed by law. Okay, and then some more attempts. So here we go. Let's look at these bullet points. This is really important. The 6 counts, okay, are well. Hold on a second. Let me scroll up. Okay, the 6. I want to get that part really in there. Okay, so look at the very top there. This is really, really important right here. Okay. The 6 counts are similarly structured and can be summarized as follows. Count 2 alleges that multiple defendants solicited elected members of the Georgia state, wow, to violate their oaths of office on December 3rd, 2020 by requesting or importuning them to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. Okay. So count 2 alleges that these multiple defendants, which includes Donald Trump, actually solicited members of the Senate to violate their oaths of office to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. Wow, that's a really big charge. Basically saying that Trump and the other defendants went after the Georgia Senate. As you guys know, in 2020, there was a lot of hullabaloo. There was a lot of election interference talk. There was a lot of, there was even audio recordings of Trump, get me 11,000 votes, et cetera, which I think every politician probably says that. It's not new. This is nothing new. The hypocrisy. If you watched my video on Robert Hur yesterday, all of those weasels, those scum of the earth, the swamp, especially a Weasel Schiff, I mean, Cori Bush. Did you guys hear what Cori Bush said yesterday? Let me know in the comments if you heard what Representative Cori Bush, which is an absolute, it's an absolute violation of our Constitution. She should be absolutely dismissed as Congresswoman. Hey, thank you so much, Loretta. It's good to see you, Loretta. Professor Nez rocks. I love it. You rock. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Cori Bush actually said, and I don't even know if I can even say this, but YouTube might delete the channel if I say this out loud, but she can say it, of course. Of course, Cori Bush can say it, right? This is the country we're living in. It drives me nuts why I'm doing this. She said, white supremacist in chief, Donald Trump. That's how she. Can you guys hear me? You can have disagreements, and you can have all sorts of opposition. I think what happened with Christopher Cuomo and Tucker Carlson getting together and having a conversation, I just thought that was absolutely beautiful. I literally did. These are two people who could not be more diametrically opposed in ideologies, came together and had a conversation. And it was actually an amazing conversation. It was an amazing engagement. You can have disagreements in this country. You don't have to, ban each other or disown each other from the family. You don't have to hate and be so vindictive. It doesn't have to be that way. Look, I love you and respect you. I disagree with you, but it used to be like that in this country. And so when Cori Bush says white supremacist in chief and disrespects not only President Trump, who is an actual elected president, maybe twice, hello, you're disrespecting the office. You're disrespecting the country. You're disrespecting and alienating over 50% of the country right now. You should be ashamed of yourself. Representative Bush, if you're watching this, you should be ashamed of yourself. You know that? That was an absolute abomination. You should issue a public apology, and you should apologize personally to the American people and Donald Trump. That's what I think. Okay, let's get back to this. Are you guys with me? Yeah, I fizzled out for a second, probably because of the stream is just absolute on fuego, on fire, and the internet can't handle us, y'all. Also, they might be trying to get rid of me. They might be trying to get rid of me right now. I would not doubt that for a second, because the stuff that I talk about, mainstream media won't talk about. The stuff that I talk about, NBC, CNN, ABC, they won't talk about it. That's why I want you guys to subscribe, because I'm going to give it to you for real. Okay, here we go. Count 2 alleges. So we talked about count 2. Count 5. Let's talk about count 5. Count 5 alleges that defendant Trump solicited the Speaker of the Georgia House of Representatives to violate his oath of office on December 7th, 2020 by requesting or importuning him. I kind of like that word. To call a special session to unlawfully appoint. There it is. There's that give me those 11,000 votes. So again, remember, Judge McAfee dismissed all of these counts. These are 6 counts. I'm just going through them, talking about them, and then hang out for a second, because I'm going to tell you what this implies for the entire case. So that's count, what is that? That's count 5. I'm losing count. Somebody help me keep count. Count 6 alleges that defendants Smith and Giuliani, here we go. Count 6 alleges that defendants Smith and Giuliani solicited members of the Georgia House of Representatives to violate their oaths of office on December 10th by requesting or importuning them to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. Again, Judge McAfee dismissed this. Sapphire Ridge Acres from Montana. It's great to see you. Come on in. Come on in. I'm trying to keep track of the chat here. There's so many of you. I love you guys. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Baton Rouge in the house. I love it. I love it. Hope you're doing fantastic. Hope you're doing fantastic. So that is Smith and Giuliani. Count 23 alleges multiple defendants solicited elected members of the Georgia state to violate their oaths of office on December 30th, 2020 by requesting or importuning them to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. Again, dismissed. There's like 18 defendants in this case. Trump is the headliner. It's like a traveling show. Count 28 alleges that defendants Trump, this is Trump specifically, Trump and Meadows solicited the Georgia Secretary of State to violate his oath of office on January 2nd by requesting, 2021, by requesting or importuning him to unlawfully influence the certified election returns. That's dismissed. And count 38, lastly, this is the 6th and final count that's dismissed. There's so many other counts. I don't even know. There's probably like 1 million counts. Count 38 alleges that defendant Trump solicited the Georgia Secretary of State to violate his oath of office on September 17th, 2021, by requesting or importuning him to unlawfully decertify the election. This is a huge win for Trump and company. This is a huge, huge win for Trump and company. Defendants first argue that the indictment is defective because the charging language does not cite the oath of each of these solicited public offers was required to take. So you guys, did you hear what I just read right there? Not only the counts, but again, not only is Fani Cash Money G. Willis a criminal mastermind. I mean, mastermind is a stretch, but I mean, if you're good at something, that's what she's good at. Not only is she criminal, not only is she a crook, not only is she rotten to the core, but she's also incompetent. She's also incompetent. Because if you look at the language here, let me see if I can get a little zoomier here. I think 400 is too much, right? Yeah, that's too much. If you look at the language here, she says the argument is defective. Well, actually, maybe 400 was okay. Hold on a second. Can you guys see this okay? Let's see here. Oh, actually, maybe okay. I wanted to zoom in on this anyway. Defendants first argue that the indictment is defective because the charging language does not cite the oath each of these solicited public officers was required to take. This omission is legally harmless as the code provides only one option relevant to each category of public official. Each Georgia state senator and representative must take the oath prescribed. The governor, in turn, takes the oath prescribed, and the Secretary of State takes the oath prescribed. Without the possibility of alternative oaths prescribed by the law, the court agrees with the state that the defendants are sufficiently apprised of which oath is at issue in each indicted account. Even if the relevant oaths are apparent as a matter of law, the defendants further contend that the counts do not detail, this is important, do not detail the exact term of the oaths that are alleged to have been violated. So all that legal jargon, okay, all that legal jargon essentially means that Fani Cash Money G. Willis is not only a crook, she's not only a rotten apple, she's not only a criminal, she's not only somebody who belongs behind bars, but she's also incompetent. She's not even good at her job. So, I mean, this is amazing, amazing news. And this was literally just filed today. Just filed today, March 13th, 2024. I'm streaming it live, breaking news. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. Not only is she criminal, she's not even competent. See ya, Fani Willis. Wouldn't want to be ya. Hasta la pasta. Nada holada. Okay. You know why? And by the way, obviously, I want there to be integrity in the election. Obviously, I don't want our values and principles as a country to be maligned in any way or be smeared in any way. But you know, when the first video in the last couple of months that I produced that really got this channel cooking in this new direction was the video I did on the hypocrisy and DEI parasitic infection ideology, DEI, the whole Harvard University Claudine Gay scandal. Another DEI hire, another person who's incompetent, a crook, a liar. The reason that I'm laughing, I mean, I shouldn't be laughing maybe, but I laugh because I knew this for decades. Because not only did I work in the private sector helping my mom start her business, but I worked in the public sector as an actual professor. I've taught at some of the best business schools in the world. I've seen these people. I know these people. Fani Willis is exactly the same as these deans and these chairs of departments and these presidents and administrators at these universities. It's all propaganda. It's all hypocrisy. They're all rotten to the core, yet they cast blame on the only guy I believe who really cares about this country And my life was prosperous under Trump. Let me know in the comments, was your life prosperous under Trump? I could buy groceries. I could take my family to dinner. The stock market was fantastic. The economy was fantastic. Interest rates were fantastic. I mean, my life was fantastic under Trump. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments. The reason I'm so giddy is because it's not about vindictiveness. It's not about revenge. It's about truth. You guys cast your finger pointing, you wagged your finger, you did everything in your power to get rid of this guy. You've thrown everything and the kitchen sink at this guy. And you claim to be crystal clean. You claim to be righteous. You claim to be on the side of good. You're rotten to the core, and it's all coming out. Claudine Gay was a DEI hire. Cori Bush is a DEI representative. Fani Willis is a DEI DA. Look what's happening to the airlines. Planes are falling out of the sky left and right. Why? I did that video on the CEO of United. No, we're not going to hire any more white people. Nope. We're going to only hire women and people of color. That's what we're going to do. I mean, that guy should be put in prison garb. He should be put in orange. Whatever happened to meritocracy in this country? Whatever happened to hiring in America? It should be the best idea wins. In America, it should be the best person for the best job. That's it. Meritocracy. Hard work. You earn your position. You earn your status. You earn your home. You earn your ability to take care of your family. You got to work for it in this country. Nothing should be handed to you. And DEI is the most infectious disease that we've had in this country. Way more infectious than Ebola, way more infectious than COVID. It is the worst. It's America's worst idea. It is literally America's worst idea because it does the exact opposite. Diversity essentially means exclude white people, exclude whoever you think deem privileged people. There is no inclusion. There is no equity. And we're getting the worst people for all the jobs. We're getting pilots now that don't know what they're doing. Planes are falling apart. Education system is falling apart. Our government is falling apart. Our healthcare system is falling apart. There was a viral video on TikTok of some nurse who was a DEI hire saying, I'm not going to take care of police officers because because she believes what she sees on CNN. It's a travesty. It's a travesty what's happening in this country. That's why I'm doing this. I love my country. I want my kids to live in a country that I grew up in. A meritocracy. You hire the best person for the job, period. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what sexual orientation you have. I don't care if you like mating with doorknobs. As long as you keep that private, that's the freedom that you're allowed in this country. As long as you don't shove that crap into our school system and down my kid's throat, I'm cool with you. I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own home. I don't care what you do on your own time. If you can solve my problem as a business owner, I'm going to hire you. I don't care what you look like. DEI is the worst idea, America's worst idea. Look what's happening at the border now, too. Don't get me started. Okay, anyway. Let's continue on with Fani Willis. Emmanuel, thank you so much. Emmanuel. Democrats are counting on Republicans to celebrate this small victory to create perception that the judge is fair. I don't trust this judge. Okay, so this is a really good point, Emanuela. Thank you so much for the $6.99 super chat. This is really, really an interesting point. Democrats are counting on Republicans to celebrate, to create the perception that the judge is fair. So are you saying, Emmanuel, I think Emanuela brings up a really interesting point, which is totally in the playbook of these, you know, I have no problem with Democrats, but I don't think what we're dealing with are Democrats. I don't even think what we're dealing with is extreme radical Democrats. These people are left of Marx. They're left of Lenin. I mean, they make Lenin look like a far right-wing extremist. I'm not even kidding you. It's like absolute bonkers. Even that's why you see a lot of Democrats are like, man, I'm going back closer to the center. I want some practicality. I want some logic. You want to do what? You want to defund the police? You want to do what? You want to open the border? You want to do what? You want to hire people based on a skin tone, based on a trait that they have zero control over? You want to give my kids what? Puberty blockers, which they just found out they just banned in England? You want to give my kids these medications and prescriptions to change their identity and hormones without any studies on what the long-term ramifications are there? What is wrong with you people? It makes no sense. So this is interesting by Emanuela. Hey, thank you so much, Nicole Harris. I'm in IT. Most of the time, I'm the only American, period. Is it diversity or education? The affordability of education. I'm a black woman for Trump. Love you. Love you, Nicole. And again, it's not a black and white thing, right? It's not a color thing. Who's the best person for the job? I don't care what color you are. I don't care. Skin tone is based on position of the equator, position of the sun. It's all pigmentation. It has nothing to do with what's on the inside, y'all. It has nothing to do with what's on the inside. So Emanuela is saying that Scott McAfee, if I'm understanding you correctly, Emanuela, you're saying Scott McAfee. Thank you, Felix, for the $20 super chat. I'm going to answer your question next. You're saying that Scott McAfee is doing this. He's dismissing these counts. So it looks like they're being objective, but then the hammer's going to come later. Is that what you think, Emanuela? Is this all just a ploy? Because it is a huge Trump win. Is that what you're saying? Let me know in the comments. Felix, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Felix says it is about calling out the ultra-Marxists within the political parties. And at every level of government, they are creating chaos and its consequences. So the Marxists can swoop in and bring order from the chaos. Thank you so much, Felix. I mean, I can't argue with that. Hey, congratulations, Alan Foster. You are a new member of the channel. You're going to be given exclusive content, perks, all sorts of amenities. Thank you for being a member. Everybody, I would consider becoming a member of the channel. All of it goes back and reinvests into the channel. And I try to bring you all the best content 100% for free. So there's no paywall or anything like that. And these people like Alan Foster make that happen. Thank you, Alan. I'm going to also be doing member-only live streams soon. So stay tuned for that. I mean, a lot of incentives to become a member. It costs you as much as a cup of coffee a month. I mean, you pay more than that at Starbucks in one sitting. Very, very interesting. Emanuela brings up a really interesting point. I like that. The state first responds that the defendants are only charged with solicitation, not violation of oath of office, and argues that the great weight of authority has never required charging language to reach beyond the elements of solicitation itself. But Sanders tells us that the elements of the underlying predicate felony that is alleged to have been solicited cannot be so easily ignored. In Sanders, the Georgia Supreme Court, which is a case law, found a special demurrer, which is a definitive. It's basically a demurrer means it has to be a definite definition. Hard to say that. Should have been granted when an indictment failed to sufficiently allege the underlying felony solicited by the defendant. Yeah, Cash Money G. Willis basically made a huge mistake. She's incompetent. She's a crook and she's incompetent. That's essentially what that means. Thank you so much, Shawnette Clark. I hope I'm saying that right. I hope justice is served fully. However, we have to pray because that judge is shady. By the way, I'm voting again for my uncle Donald Trump. God bless you, Shawnette, as is your American right to vote for whoever you think you should vote for. As is your God-given American. That's why everybody comes pouring into the United States. You don't see a lot of immigrants and migrants going to Russia, do you? You see a lot of immigrants and migrants going to Brazil, Argentina. Well, they might now because Argentina just has an amazing president now. No, where are they pouring into? Do you see a bunch of migrants and immigrants pouring into Mexico, pouring into Canada? No, they're coming to America because this is where the land of the free, the home of the brave lives. Hello. God bless you, America. I love you, America. So basically, that's what that means. Is just to kind of wrap this up. If you're just joining us, Judge McAfee, okay, Judge McAfee has essentially quashed these 6 counts in the Georgia election interference case against Trump and his 18 co-defendants. He said that the state failed to allege sufficient detail, which is what this. Let me zoom out here so you can kind of sort of see it. That's what kind of this new filing. Okay, let me go back to the very top. This new filing today, essentially, that's what this new filing entails. Bill Sorrell, thank you so much for the $1.99 super sticker. You are awesome. Number one. America is number one. You better believe that. You best believe that. Thank you so much, Bill. I really appreciate you. So he has quashed these 6 counts against former President Trump and his 18 co-defendants. And basically what he said is what the state failed to allege sufficient detail for the 6 counts of solicitation of violation of oath by public officer. So McAfee wrote this: the court's concern is less that the state has failed to allege sufficient content of the defendants. In fact, it has alleged an abundance. However, the lack of detail concerning an essential legal element is the undersigned opinion fatal, McAfee wrote. As written, these 6 counts contain all the essential elements of the crimes, but fail to allege sufficient detail regarding the nature of their commission, i.e., the underlying felony solicited, the judge continued. Okay, so just let me break that down really quickly. So that's really interesting that Judge McAfee says that. He says that basically Fani came up with an abundance. They just piled on. They just piled on all of this stuff, right? To just try to hope. I mean, again, it's the same thing. You know what this reminds me of? It actually reminds me of when Fani did that whole kind of, she filed that irrelevant. This is all irrelevant. All that cell hawk data, all that phone data, it's all irrelevant. And then she tried to come up with an alibi. Do you remember this? I did a whole video on this. She tried to cite her calendar as evidence, as an alibi, and she actually submitted the wrong dates. I mean, incompetent cash money G Fani Willis. Wow. You should be fired. You should be dismissed. You should be disbarred. You belong behind these iron bars where you belong, Fani Willis. If there is justice, that is where you belong. Holy macadamia nut. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me, Fani? So again, Judge McAfee says these 6 counts contain all the essential elements, but they fail to allege sufficient detail regarding the nature of their commission. So there was specificities that were not listed. They do not give the defendants enough information to prepare their defenses intelligently, as the defendants could have violated the constitutions and thus the statute in dozens, if not hundreds, of distinct ways. Georgia state law prohibits any public officer from willfully and intentionally violating terms of his or her oath as prescribed by law. And what Fani Willis alleged is that Trump and all his co-defendants illegally attempted to persuade these officials to violate their oaths. So this indictment basically refers to alleged requests made by members of Georgia state legislature to unlawfully appoint alternative president electors. That's what it basically says. Trump and Mark Meadows are involved in that, multiple defendants, and they challenged the counts that Willis did not detail. Okay? Willis did not detail. Oh, I missed that super chat. Thank you so much, Will. Will says, phony Fani Willis is going down in flames. Thank you, Will. You're absolutely right. I hope you are right. I mean, this sounds like it's... I'll talk about this in a second. McAfee said that the indictment should have alleged an underlying felony solicited by the defendant. In other words, a naked charge of solicitation cannot survive unless accompanied by additional elements establishing the solicited felony. Let me read that again. A naked charge of solicitation, which is what Fani Willis did, cannot survive. Judge McAfee saw right through that. Good job, Judge McAfee. Cannot survive unless accompanied by additional elements establishing the solicited felony. You lose, Fani. In other words, you lose, Fani. You absolutely lose. That's essentially what that means. That means you lose. I love it. So this is really interesting. I would love to hear what you guys think. This is really, really interesting. Hey, Jay Shea or JC, you want Viva Barnes as guest? You know what? I do. I do want Barnes or Viva as guest. Yes. We're going to get the Sadow, the pit bull. I have a really good feeling we're going to get Sadow, but all of this stuff has to, it might be a while. It might be a long while. It might be months, but we're going to get the pit bull Sadow. We're in talks with Courtney Kramer, by the way, who is the challenger, the Republican challenger. Courtney Kramer is the Republican challenger for Fani Willis's seat as DA. We're going to get her on the show to talk about this. We got a lot of stuff coming our way, y'all. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Oh, look at this. So we have a, speaking of the pit bull Sadow just tweeted out something, and I'm going to read this. Lead defense for President Trump in the Fulton County, Georgia case, Steve Sadow, says the court made the correct legal decision. Speaking of the pit bull, there, let me see if I can share this tab instead. Yep, there we go. Okay, hold on a second. This is the pit bull Sadow. Now, let me see if I can, yeah, here we go. Okay, can you guys see that? Let me know if you guys can see that. So this is the pit bull Steve Sadow, who just posted this tweet on X. By the way, follow me on X. I'm at Professor Nez. The court he's regarding this exact dismissal of these 6 counts. You see, I give you breaking news live as it happens. He just tweeted this literally 6 minutes ago. The court made the correct legal decision to grant the special demurrers and quash important counts of the indictment brought by DA Fani Willis. So he says the counts dismissed against President Trump are 5, 28, and 38, which we just covered, which falsely claimed he solicited Georgia public officials to violate their oath of office. The ruling is a correct application of the law, as the prosecution failed to make specific allegations of any alleged wrongdoing on those counts. The entire prosecution of President Trump is political, constitutes election interference, and should be dismissed. The Pitbull Sadow speaks. Oh, you got to love the Pitbull Sadow. That is a fantastic, fantastic post on X. I love it. By the way, I talked to Sadow. We are in talks. If you're just joining us, we are in talks with the Pitbull, who I think is the most exemplary, most skilled attorney in this entire hearing. I think he did the best job. Not to take away from Ashley. I mean, Miss Merchant did okay. I think she could have done a lot better, which is understandable. You know, thank you so much, Felix. Yeah, I'll take a few questions and then we'll get out of here. But essentially, huge win for Trump, huge win for the co-defendants. If you're just joining us, Judge McAfee dismissed 6 counts of the case. He still is set to give a final ruling. I'm going to talk about what this means, what this implicates. The Pitbull Sadow just tweeted out that this was the right decision, lawful decision. Let's see. Felix says, what does Felix say here? Felix says, do you believe, thank you for the $10 super chat, by the way. Do you believe all of this is to interpret the separation of powers via Article 3 courts to rewrite the Constitution without legislative amendment of Article 5 convention? Felix, it sounds like you're an attorney, and I would not know that. I'm not an attorney. I have been and am a professor of rhetoric and communications, and I have a bunch of judges and lawyers in my family. So I would have been an amazing lawyer, actually. This is my platform, though. My platform is this. But that's a great question. I would love to maybe have that asked of some attorneys that we're going to get on the show. So Felix, subscribe. In the pinned comment is our newsletter. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter so you don't miss a thing. Randy Hearn, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. This lends me to believe he may disqualify Willis and her team with prejudice. Yeah, it's interesting to me because if he's following, so this kind of, thank you for the segue. This really means a lot because this language is really interesting to me. I'm going to kind of go to the real meat and potatoes of this. This language is really interesting to me because it really essentially means, you can see here, so ordered this 13th day of March, 2024. The language that he's using here, the very legal language of saying that it's not explicit enough. They did not define the actual commissioners of this violation of oath of office, really says to me that so this language right here, they do not give the defendants enough information to prepare their defenses intelligently, as the defendants could have violated the Constitution and thus the statute in hundreds, if dozens, if not distinct ways. And so this kind of language that the judge is saying that they did not provide enough detail, essentially means to me that McAfee is following the law to a T. He is going by and if you follow the law and not Fannie Cash Money G's version or interpretation of the law, I'm on the side of truth. I'm for the people. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. I'm for the people. They're just doing some quest. It's a political quest. That's my version of Fannie Cash Money G. Good question, Matt Gunya. Matt Gunya, I hope I'm saying that right. He says, how many charges remain? A lot. There's still a lot. I don't know the exact specific amount, but it is a lot. And I'm not sure exactly how much is there. So if he's going to follow the law like this to a T, what does that tell you? What does that tell you, guys? If he's going to follow the law to a T, that tells me that there's no other decision that he could make. There's no other decision that he could make other than, I think he's got to go more than dismissal. My gut tells me he's at the if he exonerates and keeps, if he rules in favor of Fani Willis, first there's going to be a major appeal. But if he actually rules in favor of Fani Willis, Fannie Cash Money G, I'm going to be so pissed because it will be an absolute degradation to justice. It will be a fractured justice system, especially in Georgia, especially in Fulton County, where Georgia is a major swing state in the upcoming election. And it makes you wonder, if Judge McAfee actually rules in the favor of Cash Money G Willis, it makes you wonder, what's going to happen in 2024? What's going to happen in November? What happened in 2020? If there's this much corruption in this small county, well, actually, I don't know how big or small the county is. Maybe somebody can tell me in the chat. But if there's this much corruption in Fulton County, what's to say that there's not this kind of widespread malignant corruption throughout the entire state in the state legislature? Now, the Georgia Senate hearing, which I'm kind of surprised, they only subpoenaed Ashley Merchant. But Senator Counsert, who I think is really amazing, I've talked about how much I love his accent, but I mean, his professionalism and his level of precise questions I really thought that that was super interesting, and I thought that he was actually going to subpoena more people. I thought he was going to perhaps even subpoena, at the very least, Nathan Wade, at the very least, Jaeger or Yurti. Jaeger Yurti. It sounds like it should be a new ice cream. Have you tried Rocky Road by Jaeger and Yurti? At the very least, I thought he would subpoena one of them, if not Fani Willis, Cash Money G. Willis herself. So it's really interesting to see. My gut is telling me he's going to, at the very least, dismiss Fannie, but he's not going to pursue disbarment. He's not going to pursue criminal charges, even though he should. He absolutely should. A lot has happened in the last week. Hey, Christopher George, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Christopher George says, could they have a base to file civil rights lawsuit, false prosecution for political ends? I think they absolutely do. And I know, knowing Trump, he definitely will do that. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. He's going to probably sue the entire state of Georgia. He's going to sue Fani Willis. He's going to sue Nathan Wade. He's going to sue the district attorney's office. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's kind of focused on he just won a beautiful primary. Super Tuesday was a huge win for Trump. He's got to focus now on those swing states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Ohio, Florida. He's got to focus on North Carolina, South Carolina. He's got to focus on those swing states big time. I live in California, and I'm so depressed and saddened by what Newsom, Karen Bass, and all these corrupt politicians have done to our state. A lot of people are thinking that California could actually go red. I don't think so. I would love it if California went red, but they probably won't. He's got to focus on all these swing states. And I don't know if he can pursue a suit if he does actually win the election, God willing, in November, to get our country back. But it's going to be really, really interesting. I love that post by the Pitbull. I think that's really, really interesting that he did that. And again, if he's going to follow the law, if he's going to follow the statutes with a fine comb like this, I can't think that he's not going to continue that line of meticulousness as he makes his ruling. And with all intents and purposes, it seems like it is Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. It seems like he is on track. He has said this in his interview. I did a video yesterday where I went through the entire interview and what he said. Make sure you watch that. It's on my YouTube channel or Rumble, and the podcast. He said he's on track. So I'm assuming with this decision and this written dismissal of these 6 counts, if he had time to do this, he probably already has his final draft of his ruling. What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know. If he has time for this, to issue this today, I mean, what are you spending time on this? Obviously, it has some bearing in his overall decision, I'm sure. But if he has time for this type of decision, I'm assuming he's going to give his final ruling either tomorrow or Friday. Probably not today. But either tomorrow or Friday. Probably more than likely. So local news just said that Steve Garvey edges ahead of Adam Schiff in California for the U.S. Senate primary. Come on, Garvey! Vote Garvey! Come on, California. Finally come to your senses. Let's make California great again. Oh, that is fantastic news. I love that. There's nothing yet that Judge, I don't understand why there isn't there should be some type of a specific timeline, but there really isn't. But he's going to make his decision, I think, either tomorrow or... Thank you, Molo. Molo says, I subscribed again. You can subscribe twice? Thank you, Molo. I appreciate you. I think either today or tomorrow. Probably more than likely. I'm sorry, Thursday or Friday. Probably more than likely by Friday. And guess who is going to live stream the whole thing? Guess who's going to bring it to you before every other network, before mainstream media? Guess who's going to bring it to you? Yours truly, Professor Nez. I'm going to bring it to you. So stay tuned for that. Again, just to wrap up really quickly, Judge McAfee has dismissed 6 counts. It's a win for Trump. It's a win for the co-defendants. It's a big loss for Fani Willis. Does this indicate where the judge is leaning? Does this indicate where his ruling is going to go? I don't think anybody can say that for sure, but it does bode well for Trump and the co-defendants. I can't help but think that it doesn't, because if Fannie Cash Money G is as incompetent as we all know she is, she's proven time and time again submitting the wrong dates for her alibi for the Cellhawk data, submitting less than detailed information time and time again because she's a narcissist. She only cares about herself. You think she cares about the people of Fulton County? You think she cares? I mean, if you think that Fannie Cash Money G thinks and cares about justice, you need a psychiatric evaluation. I mean that sincerely. This is not professional advice, but pretty close to it. You need a psychiatric evaluation if you actually are fooled into thinking that Fannie Cash Money G. Willis actually cares about anybody but herself. Impossible. Does not happen, will not happen. She'll never change. She's going to be like this till the day she takes a dirt nap. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. We went to Aruba. We went to the Bahamas. I paid Nathan Wade $700,000, even though he's not qualified to be a special prosecutor. Oh, and by the way, we just started, a beautiful little affair. And then he took me on vacation, benefiting from taxpayer funds. So basically what she said is, I'm going to go after Trump, make my career, make a ton of money. Oh, and by the way, since you're good in bed, I'm going to pay you a crazy salary, but you have to spend it on me. So she doesn't have to spend a dime of her own money. She's making money on the back end. She's going to get book deals. She's going to be on Oprah. She's going to be on The View. She'll probably host her own podcast. You know what her new podcast is going to be? I Was Framed by Fani Cash Money G. Willis. She's going to probably start a hip hop record label. She's going to be a hip hop artist because she's just like Lil Kim. She's going to bust some rhymes. She's going to do everything in her power. If this doesn't work well for her, she's going to do everything in her power because she's all about them dollar bills, y'all. She's all about that Cash Money G. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about me. If you live in Fulton County, she doesn't give a rat's behind about you. And she doesn't care about the country. She has no care about the country. She met with Kamala Harris. Kamala is the ultimate. She is like the cockroach of the cockroach. I mean, Kamala makes Fannie Cash Money G look like a Walmart greeter when it comes to corruption. There isn't another human being on planet Earth. I mean, she makes Kevin Spacey's character, who I love Kevin Spacey, poor thing, DEI ruined him too. I used to love that show, House of Cards. How many of you love House of Cards? Let me know in the comments. Kamala is exactly like Kevin Spacey's character. Thank you so much. The Chugi Show Live of the 199 Super Chat. Viva's friend, Good Logic, also makes a great guest. Yes. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Kamala is, now I lost his, Francis, God, what's his last name in that show? Somebody tell me. What's his last name? Frank Underwood. I got it. So Frank Underwood is the character in House of Cards who navigated and maneuvered his way. By the way, no coincidence that Frank Underwood played a Democrat. You think that's just a coincidence? I think not. I think not, mate. Not even close. Not even close to a coincidence. I think not. I have no idea why I went in that accent, but I just did. Frank Underwood was a Democrat on that show. Kamala the Commie Harris is the most, she gives mold a bad name. She gives bacteria, disease, infestation a bad name. There isn't a word in the English vocabulary that can describe the maliciousness of her soul more accurately. You want to talk about the power struggle? You want to talk about the greed, the narcissism, the desperate yearning of power by an individual? That is commie. You think Kamala supports Tombstone Biden? You think Kamala actually thinks that Biden is mentally fit for office? Why do you think she met with I think it was the mayor of Atlanta she met with, and Cash Money G. Willis before the indictment? She's given her playbook. She's given Cash Money G. Willis her playbook. Why do you think she's doing that? She's giving her exact blueprint. This is how I got to power. How do you go from a California attorney general to vice president of the United States of America in less than, what was it, a year or two? You don't do that. Does not happen, cannot happen, unless you are the most corrupt, vile human being on planet Earth. I can't imagine what she did behind. I mean, if that ever comes out, it will be the greatest scandal in American history. The rise to power by one of the most corrupt, evil human beings to ever be created. And I mean that. I'm including Hitler in that. I mean, she is like vile. I mean, vile. There's nothing about her that she cares about the country. She cares about Tombstone, 1 foot in the grave Biden. She doesn't give a rat's behind about anybody. And Cash Money G. Willis is like her apprentice. Fact. Trust me on that. I know these people. I've worked with these people. You can see it in the eyes. You can hear it in that. I mean, that cackle should be bottled up as a pest repellent. That cackle will kill termites. It should be like you know how they tent houses? Somehow they should bottle up her cackle, and instead of spraying chemicals, just boom that on a stereo HD surround sound, and I promise you that will get rid of all your pests. Nicole Harris, how will this impact the YSL case? Kamala is her sorority sister, same university. Fani sent black teachers to jail. Big case, Fulton County cheating case. Yeah, I mean it's really, really interesting, Nicole. I think it's this case, this disqualification hearing is going to have ramifications on every aspect of this election. This is a symbolic case because think about it. You're going after the former president of the United States. You're charging him with one of the most serious charges. Not only could you give a public official the most serious charges to any citizen of the United States, interfering with the sanctity of one of the biggest, most powerful, most civic enabling freedoms, rights that American citizens have, and that is to a fair and impartial election, a fair and justified election. Remember what Abraham Lincoln said, a government by the people, for the people, of the people. It's all about the people. The union is the people. It's us. That's how our founding fathers intended it to be. So you making a serious charge like that, this case is symbolic for the legacy of our country. The world is watching. Putin is watching. Xi of China is watching. All of our enemies and our allies, for that matter, are watching. Netanyahu is watching this closely. Look at what they're doing. They're going after one of their own. America has become a circus, a sideshow. That's why everybody feels emboldened. That's why Putin felt emboldened to invade Ukraine. And they're just, I mean, this is only the beginning. North Korea is emboldened. China is emboldened. Everybody's emboldened because they see this circus sideshow. Instead of us getting down to business, instead of us taking care of our own, we're more worried sending all of our resources, sending all of our funds, ending up trillions and trillions in debt. We're sending it all to Ukraine in a proxy war, supporting some circus show, a talk show host by the name of Zelensky, as opposed to citizens in the United States of America who can't even pay their rent, who can barely afford groceries. And I'm not talking people looking for handouts. Americans who have decent jobs can barely put food on the table. And you're going to give all of our resources to Zelensky? This case has ramifications so the ripple effect of this education, the ripple effect of this outcome, which is why I think McAfee is taking so long. The reverberations are going to be felt from continent to continent, north, south, east, west. We're not in a local economy anymore. This is a global economy. We're not just, the United States of America is the barometer for the entire world. We are the leaders of the free world. We are the lighthouse for the rest of the world. To quote, that was a quote from Obama, actually. We are the lighthouse for the entire world, and everybody's watching. And I'm embarrassed. I'm disgusted. I'm repulsed by what they're doing to our country, how they're making our country look. I am so deeply offended by Tombstone Biden and Kamala power hungry Harris. It's a giant embarrassment. Pelosi is a giant embarrassment. Schumer is a giant embarrassment. The Weasel Schiff is a giant embarrassment. Mitt Romney is a giant embarrassment. Robert De Niro is a monster of an embarrassment. I used to love The Godfather. I loved Casino. I loved Goodfellas. You're an embarrassment. Mark Hamill is an embarrassment. I used to watch Star Wars, man. Me and my kids used to watch you. And you gloat and brag about Tombstone, one foot in the grave Biden? If you can't see that this guy is not fit for office, you're either against us, you're a spy, or even worse. I don't know. Don't get me started. It's driving me crazy. I love my country too much. Yes, absolutely, Cindy Rose, to all our veterans. Thank you for your service. It's an insult to our veterans sending all of our resources and our money abroad. It's an absolute insult. Okay, guys, so I'm going to keep you up to speed. I'm going to keep you abreast of everything that's happening. I love you guys more than I can even say. I'm just so appreciative of all of you, because with your help, we can get our country back. Remember, we have it's media personalities like us, independent. We're not beholden to anybody. Tucker Carlson is an independent journalist. So is Chris Cuomo. Now even Don Lemon, Don Lemon, he's awful. But anyway, I'm happy to see that maybe he'll start, a lot of people are coming to their senses. A lot of people are waking up. Your support of this channel, covering what mainstream media won't cover. The mainstream media is all about propagating their propaganda. New York Times, propaganda. CNN, propaganda. It's us. So your support, hitting that thumbs up, which literally, there's 14,000 of you in here right now, and we only have 6,000, 7,000 likes. There should be 15,000 likes. Tap that thumbs up. It helps us, because then the algorithm will share our stream. We need to raise awareness. There's so many channels like mine doing what I'm doing, and your support raises that awareness. This is the most powerful medium. Media is the most powerful medium of raising awareness, getting the truth out there, saving our kids, saving our country. So tap that thumbs up if you haven't already, for crying out loud. It takes you 2 seconds. Do it. Share this out. Share this with your family. Watch all of these videos all the way through. Watch all these streams all the way through. Just have them on in the background while you're doing stuff. The more that you do that, the more that our channel will grow. And the more we grow, the election is 7 months away, 8 months away. We've got to get our country back, y'all. We got to raise awareness for the love of our country. Don't do it for me. Do it for the love of our country. We got to get our country back. I love you guys so much. And so don't forget, I'm going to keep you up to speed. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss out. In the pinned comment is our free Nez Nation Insider newsletter. It's free. All we need is your best email. All you got to do is just tap on that link, Click on newsletter, put your best email in there. We never spam. I never share your email. I value you guys, Nez Nation. I value you more than you'll ever know. This is my purpose in life. I'm not going anywhere. You get all of these latest breaking videos, news, updates, top stories that mainstream media won't cover. It will behoove you to become an insider. It's our free newsletter. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. You get everything right to your inbox. Because quite honestly, there's a good chance, I got to sneeze, excuse me. Excuse me. Because with all honesty, YouTube might delete this channel. Rumble's still around. Thankfully, they're on the side of freedom and they're on the side of free speech, but YouTube might delete this channel, God forbid. I post everything first on YouTube. Then I post on Rumble and then on the podcast. So first dibs is always YouTube. However, excuse me, I'm so sorry. They might delete our channel. So become a member of our Nez Nation free newsletter. It's in the pinned comment. Excuse me. My apologies. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Tap that thumbs up before you leave. New video coming out today. I'm going to keep this struggle. I'm going to keep this fight. I'm not going anywhere. I hope you will join me. I love you all. As soon as I get the best, latest, breaking everything, I'm going to bring it to you objectively, analyzing it through, the lens of objectivity, the rhetorical principles, Aristotle, audience, purpose, message, so we can exercise our critical thinking and sift through all the BS that mainstream media gives us. I love you all. I will see you guys very, very soon. As always, God bless you. God bless your families. God bless the United States of America. And I will see you soon. Thank you, guys.